You know, we don't talk enough about big tech, do we? We just don't talk. I know we talk about it a bunch on the show, but we really aren't talking about it enough. Because here's the truth of big tech. I just set aside Google and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and all these other things. Just set that aside for a moment. I want you to picture it's the year 1980, right? Not ancient history, 1980. And I want you to picture the people you hate the most in this world. Let's go with just your political opponents, not the people you hate the most, but your political opponents. And I want you to picture this. They hate your guts, right? Whoever your opponents are, they hate your guts, right? You have that image of that person. You probably have a couple politicians in your head. It doesn't matter who it is. And remember, it's the year 1980. And I want you to picture this. They control all the phone companies and phone lines and the fax machines. Do you think that would be a big deal? What's happening in big tech, what's been happening, is a really, 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 really big deal. And we don't talk about it enough because that's how people communicate these days. That's how business is done these days. Everything is done online. I'm sitting here in front of a camera speaking to you. I have a TV show, I have a radio show, not to brag, but both those things were made possible because of social media. That's where they all began. This is how people coordinate. This is how people communicate. This is how people send out ideas, respond to ideas. So if all these companies are controlled by communists who hate your guts and don't want you to be able to speak, that's a really big deal. And let's not forget, they've been bad actors. They have not wielded their power well for a long, long time. I mean, set aside that Facebook fake whistleblower thing where she was clearly just there to try to get Congress more involved. And let's just set that aside for a moment. Do you remember last summer when St. George Floyd died? And there was this weird collective thing that happened in America. And I could see it happening while it was happening. I was screaming about it. And of course, everyone got mad at me. Not you probably, but everyone got mad at me. This thing that was happening in America was the American media and big tech and the Democrat politicians and half of our loser Republican politicians and every athlete, entertainer, like the entire society, the entire system just decided right away off of one bad internet video that was, again, online, one internet video, everyone decided cops are bad, black people are still oppressed in America, and we have to get rid of the cops. America's racist. And not only did they all decide this, they all pushed these things. And then when the outrage came after, remember Black Lives Matter and Antifa burning down a bunch of stuff? When the outrage came after, and they were torching people's businesses. We're not even going to talk about the people who were killed. People had their entire livelihoods destroyed in these riots. City after city after city in America. And big tech didn't even want you to see it. Wrap your mind around that? Facebook, by the way, of course, they have a racial justice chat board and said, quote, get Breitbart out of the news tab, because Breitbart was, of course, recording Minneapolis is on fire. Minneapolis is on fire. And that's just the St. George Floyd riots. Do you have any idea how much money Mark Zuckerberg put into the election? Nonpartisan, of course. $300 million just to Pennsylvania in important strongholds of Pennsylvania. That's weird. $300 million? Do you have any idea how much you could do with $300 million? It's a lot. And look, this is across the social media platforms. Jim Banks, he's a congressman, gone. Marjorie Taylor Greene, gone. Both of them from Twitter. Why? Rachel Levine, they called him a man. Rachel Levine. Have you seen a picture of Rachel Levine? Jim Banks, Marjorie Taylor Greene, two elected congressmen called that person a man and got banned from Twitter for it. You're not even allowed to look up and say the sky is blue now. That's how committed the congressman is, or the congressman. That's how committed the communists are. These people have not changed. They will not change. And you remember all the "Let's Go Brandon" stuff, right? It's everyone knows what it means by now. It's a family show, so I'm not going to tell you what it means. But there's a rapper. He wrote a song called "Let's Go Brandon." His name's Bryson Gray. Bryson Gray is his name. It's #1 on iTunes. It's also banned on YouTube. What? Some weird, funny saying that caught fire? They banned it from the largest video streaming platform on the planet? It's bad. And the problem is right now, it doesn't appear that it's going to get any better. Hey, thanks so much for watching the first on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.